I took the first one in person. It was like a 3.5, 4 day course. And we were talking after we finished the online, once a week for 5 weeks. I actually felt that doing the online PMP was a little bit easier for me to stay focused because it was like, all right, once a week, you just got to dedicate, 8 hours just to really jump into subject matter. And the thing I enjoyed about it was, I mean, it was you had Dan and four of us, sometimes five. There would be somebody pop in and out, but it was very, he could answer our questions right then and there. He had put it into situational examples to make, to help better understand the concepts that were being taught. So I thought doing the online was actually very helpful. And then, Dan was very, very persistent on reminding us, hey, you guys, don't drag your feet like you did last time. Just go ahead and schedule the PMP test and get it out of the way while it's still fresh. And so I think everybody, there were four of us that, we all knew one another, and we took that to heart. And in fact, the day after we finished our last course, I was in there at 8 o'clock in the morning and knocked it out, no problems.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, what about your career goals? I know this is something that's required for your organization to advance, but what are some of your career goals, and how, other than that, do you think the PMP will help you?
Well, I'll be honest. As far as career goals, I took the PMP exam because I had to, as being the program manager for my current contract. It's also being rebid, and it was a stipulation of the government that the program manager be PMP qualified. That was number one, first and foremost, why I took it. Secondly, though, I was 30 plus years in the military as a senior officer. So I had my own kind of way of doing um, program and project management and, my own leadership style and techniques. But this did teach me some tools that I can use now. It's more applicable in the business world. So I thought that was helpful. A lot of the stuff I had done in the military in the past, as far as management, managing people, money, and time, it came kind of second nature. I just had to understand the terminology that's being used in the business world vice what I used in the military. So once that clicked in my head, and Dan, who at one time was also in the military, he would use some examples whenever he was teaching, and it really started to click. So yeah, it was really good. I mean, in fact, when I knew we were going to have to take the PMP, I reached out to you guys and I was like, hey, is Dan available? Because, we remember him out in Tulsa as being one of the instructors himself, and the owner of oh, there he is right there. Hello, sir. How are you? The owner of your all's business teaching, and Dan was really interactive, kind of kept everybody engaged. So I was like, hey, if we could get Dan, that would be perfect. So that's why I reached out.
Excellent. James, how about you? Any career goals that for you are going to be helped by the PMP?
To touch on a lot of what Carl said, having been in the military and knowing how we do things in the military, it was great to kind of be able to translate that into the regular civilian world and not be so kind of like military focused on it. Even though since I'm retired, I've only worked in the military environment, even as a civilian now. So I've never had to change. I've never had to change like my lingo or the way I think about planning things. And Dan had to push me a lot to like kind of think more in the PMP language to translate my experience into what I've done and how that, how I've already got that experience. And once it started to click, I was like, oh yeah. And then it was just a piece of cake from there. And, so this was a good way to figure out, how civilians do things and how to, not sound so, military-ish going forward. So
That's great, James. And you've both been very complimentary to Dan, and we're thrilled to have him as an instructor teaching our courses. Is there anything else you want to add about how he helped, or how the class materials and the setup helped you get ready for the PMP so quickly?
Yeah, he made sure you were focused. He made sure you were engaged. I don't know if he could see us on the screen if we were starting to like wander off, but he would quickly call you back and like do like a check on learning, and he would ask, James, give me an example of when, something about something we were going over. And he would, so you never knew when he was going to put you on the spot, and you had to be ready. And so every time he would cover something, I would think in my head, okay, when have I done that? Just in case Dan asks, I can just spit it out really quick. So I was constantly thinking about my own experiences as he was teaching the lesson, so that if he called on me, I could give him an answer. Because a few times he would call on me and I would be like, I haven't done that. And he would, he would say, no, I think you have. And he would rephrase the question, and I'd be like, okay, well, yeah, now that you put it that way, I've done that. So Dan just kept me engaged because I never knew if he was going to call on me, and I didn't want to, sit there and, look dumb.
Well, I think that's good too, to be able to relate your experience to the material. That really helps, I think, build a bridge that can help on the exam, because a lot of those are scenario based, and then you're able to relate it to what you do too.
Mm-hmm.
So on
Yeah,
a scale,
Phil, I would add to that. I'd say, I mean, yourself as well. I mean, you were super prompt on getting back to us whenever we shot you a question. You were really super helpful whenever I was signing up. Hey, I was like, hey, well, how much is it? When do you need it by? And then once, you would send us the products and we had access, or if we had issues getting access, you corrected that within a very short period of time, like within minutes. So I appreciate your efforts as well. The backside of the program.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
So the next question, how strongly would you recommend this course to other people who are looking to get the PMP exam on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being lowest, 10 being highest?
I'd go 10. Well, in fact, we've already recommended it to other people, and I think one of them reached out to you yesterday. I've also talked to our operations manager. She wants to get hers. Like I said, I would highly recommend the online version, because, you have 8 hours. You do it once a week for 5 weeks. If you can't give yourself 8 hours once a week, you're focused in, get after it, stay focused, take good notes. And plus you have more interaction online, at least in our scenario we did, because the student to instructor ratio is so much better. Whereas if you're in a room of, say, 20 or 30 people, I mean, you're a little bit more hesitant to raise your hand and, inject a little more. So yeah, I'd say 10, 100%. I mean, and I've heard of other PMP training courses. This one's hands down, based on everything I've heard from other friends of ours who have taken it and not passed in many cases. But yeah, you guys really enjoyed your program and how you structured in the learning environment. So 10 out of 10.
Thanks, Carl. James, how about you?
I would give it a 10 also. I felt completely prepared to take the exam, and I would have taken it the same day Carl did, but it was already full, and I had to wait for the following week. And I walked in there confident and took it and passed. So it worked. And I only used one other like study resource other than the class and the notes I took. And it was a YouTube video. And so really the bulk of what I learned came from y'all's class. And I felt more than prepared going in there, and did great. So 10 out of 10.
It's great to hear, gentlemen. And NK, to both of you, and then NK2, anything else you'd like to add? Anything you want to make sure we cover today?
Yeah, I would like to ask something, Carl and James. First of all, congratulations for achieving the PMP. That's a great thing, great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a great feeling. What did you like most about this course?
I think I like the practical applications that I learned, the different tools that I could employ now in my job. You know, not everything's applicable. It's not like, you know, we're defense contractors, me and James. It's not like we're making software, you know,
Right.
and we're going to have to employ the agile concept. But just the thought process on how you can reevaluate where you are midstream and reset and then reorient either your workforce or yourself, for that matter, to stay focused on the end state. I think that's what I enjoyed the most.
Very good. What about you, James? What did you like the most?
Yeah, I think learning just a different way to do things. And learning how to check up on yourself and adjust course. If it's not working, get to the bottom of it, figure out what it is, and
Yeah.
keep.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I don't have anything else, Philip.
All right. Anything else from you, Carl or James?
No, I mean, bottom line, anytime anybody asks me about PMP, I'm going to go, hey, you need to go to RefineM, because you're not going to find a better education source than your team.
Thank you.
Love to hear
100%.
it. James, how about you?
All right.
Carl said it all.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, everyone. And yeah, we'll have this up on YouTube probably later this week.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank
You have a
Bye-bye.
good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
See y'all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye-bye.